Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Ethan, and this is Roster United. Today in Roster United, we're going to go through the last two characters in Tales of Asgard Expansion. This is episode 11. Please sit tight, listen, and I hope you have an incredible time hearing this podcast. Now, before I continue and go through the symbols and the abilities for these two characters, I just like to say one quick thing. The villain stats on the website rosterunited.boxmode.io has been updated, has been open, so now you can go into the villain stats page and you will see Red Skull. I personally took lots of time of doing it, so I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like it. So yeah, that's basically all the announcements that I have. Oh no! Wait, I forgot one. Excuse me. I forgot to do one more announcement. It was that I'm gonna do two episodes today. I'm gonna talk about the last two characters in Tales of Asgard, and I'm also going to talk about the villain stat, the first ever villain stat, which is Red Skull, today. So yes, stay tuned. And again, thank you for supporting this podcast and listening. So let us begin, shall we? Let's begin with Korg. Now we have Korg and Valkyrie today. Let's start with Korg, shall we? Number of symbols. Here we go. We got 3 moves, 8 hits, 2 heroics, and 3 wilds. Yeah, you see where this is going. Abilities, he has Cronan Fighter, which says hit in both adjacent locations or deal 2 hits in your location. Really good ability, but the symbols, not that good. Again, his number of symbols is 3 moves, 8 hits, 2 heroics, and 3 wilds. Now remember the character, oh, what's his name? Oh yeah. Spider Ham. Remember Spider Ham? Remember um Ant-Man? Remember those characters, what they all had in common? That they would have lots of either heroics, lots of moves, or lots of hits, but have absolutely nothing else left in their stats? Well, this is the case for Korg. He has 8 moves, which is phenomenal. Honestly, A plus on that. But everything else is like a D. I mean, 2 heroics, that's not good at all. I mean, you could barely do stuff with that with 2 heroics. Not just that, you also have 3 moves. It's not that bad. It's not that good. It's not even okay. It's still bad. You see, just like Ant-Man, right? He could do lots of heroics, but what was his problem? Well, if you remember, the only problem he had was that he could not move. And I have had many experiences with playing with Ant-Man, and I had to save lots of people, or I had to eliminate those threat cards, or I forgot the name what it's called, but basically, I'm taking away those characters, saving these characters, doing all that stuff. I could do that with Ant-Man, but I could not move anywhere else. Same thing with Korg here. Korg can hit, which is the only difference from Ant-Man. He can hit, but he can't move. He can't save lots of people, and yeah, his wilds are normal. Everybody has 3 or more, so I can't really judge on the wilds. That's normal. I do like his ability though, but again, it relates only to his hit symbols. I counted it up, the abilities, how much damage he would have dealt, and it says here that he has more than 12 hits total, which is great. But how are you going to use it if you can only move 3 times, plus as many times as your teammates move? It just depends on who your teammates are. For example, here I would definitely put Korg with more of a moving character or a heroic character. And especially if I'm playing a solo game, I would definitely have a moving character. and definitely have a heroic character so Korg can just focus on hitting and, you know, dealing out damage to thugs and to enemies and to the villain, things like that. Korg is a great hitter, absolutely phenomenal. Problem is, again, he can only move a little bit more. He can't really do a lot of heroics, so teaming up with him with a lot of people that can move, a lot of characters that can do lots of heroics or even wilds, it don't matter as long as they're a good team player and have lots of two symbol cards. They can help Korg. Now, I do like his ability where he can hit in both adjacent locations or deal 2 damage in your location. I think that is really good. But again, it only affects his hit symbols. You can't really do that if you don't move. Remember, it's also important in Marvel United to move around. Not just the cool cooperative gameplay, which works out phenomenal, but it's also moving around. It's also uh, saving civilians, that kind of stuff. Because defeating thugs and defeating civilians is almost as important as everything else in the game. Because if you, um, because if you unlock the 2 cards out of 3 of the objective cards, you can hit the villain, and that is very important. But in order to do that, you have to save people, you have to move around and hit people. Korg can hit, he can't move, sadly. Not just that, he's not really that good of a team player. He does have 5 2 symbol cards out of 12, which isn't that bad, but it's also not that good. It's kind of like in the okay area for me. Um, yeah, he's not that good of a team player. Yeah. So Korg overall is okay. So just a little, just a little recap here, or a little extra information or objective I would like to say to you guys is that if you do have Marvel United, please do a Korg game. Please do a grab Korg from the Tales of Asgard expansion and play with him against Ultron and see what kind of team you can come up against. Hopefully, you guys come up with a cool team and tell me what happens. I would like to very much know what would happen if you did Korg against Ultron. And yeah, just tell me what happens. I would love to know if you guys have that. Um, and yeah, so let's continue here. Also, I forgot to mention, Korg is a 2.5 out of 5 character. I liked him, but his stats kind of killed him. And not just his stats, really, but also his team playing kind of killed it too. So, yeah. Next up is Valkyrie. Valkyrie is phenomenal, I think, especially in the movies. I think she's really cool and really interesting, such as Korg was. But how good is Valkyrie in the game? Well, let's find out. Number of symbols for Valkyrie is 3 moves, 7 hits, 4 heroics, and 3 wilds. Her ability is War Song. She has 3 cards with this ability, which says you may move to any location. So we see here that Valkyrie is also a hitter with 7 hits. That is really good. She also has 4 heroics, which is not the best, but it's good. Like it's about average of what a character should have. 4 heroics is great, personally, for me. I think it's really good. 7 hits, great. 3 wilds, normal. But again, only 3 moves, which is not that good. Now, lately you might be, thinking, wow, maybe 3 moves is like an average for these characters. It's not. I've counted it up, and you can do the same too if you go to the website. The average of a character that moves is 4. or 3.5. So Valkyrie is just under average. But again, you don't want to be under average, especially in moving. You can be under average in hitting because hitting's not as important as saving people and clearing the threat cards, and stuff like that. You know, moves and heroics are really important. Hits are important. Valkyrie can do that. Now, I know I'm kind of picking a lot on moving, but I shouldn't on Valkyrie because her ability lets her move to any location, which basically adds 3 more movements to her stats, which makes it 6 moves. And that is phenomenal. That is great. So that means that she can move around the board. She can do a lot. She can do few heroic actions. She can do tons of hits and so on and so forth. She is a really good character. Now, you know, that now here's the only problem that I have with Valkyrie. Because even there, I would have probably made Valkyrie a 5 out of 5 character. But what's her problem? Well, who knows if you guessed it or not. But Valkyrie is not a good team player, with only 5 2 symbol cards, which kind of drops it down. She does help the team, though, in many ways, but through herself. She can't really do lots of 2 symbol cards. Her ability is all about herself, not giving others tokens or not moving herself and another character to any location. It's just her, which is fine. Sometimes you need somebody in the whole group when you're playing the game to step up to step it up a notch and start going around beating everybody up and saving everybody and being the hero of the day. And Valkyrie is the perfect character to do that. Again, it just depends on what villain you're playing. It depends on which characters your party is planning on playing as, and just stuff like that. But Valkyrie, not too shabby character. I really like her. I think she's great. Again, not such a good team player, but she's a really good character all around. Her ability is really good. Her stats are solid. Valkyrie is really good. Now, Valkyrie is better than Korg, but I'll get in the details with that later for the next episode that we're gonna do. We're gonna be ranking uh, the Tales of Asgard characters from from worst to best, and seeing why is this character better, and stuff like that. So we're gonna compare them all, see which is best, see which is worst, see which is in between, and yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was going in depth with Valkyrie and Korg from the Tales of Asgard expansion. Before we wrap this up, again, I'm going to do a villain stat episode right after this episode. So listen to this probably right after this. The new Red Skull episode will come out. Also, I had a cool idea for the website and for the podcast of getting my father into the podcast or just getting his opinions. Now, I was thinking of doing a separate page in the website that's called Second Take, which basically means that my father will go, and he likes the game as much as I do. He likes to talk about it with me all the time. So he's going to take all of his knowledge and all that I have told him, and he's going to put it all in cool comments, what he thinks about the character. He might not be going in depth as I do in the podcast, but in the website, he is going in depth. So, yes, not just that, he'll also be in a few podcasts with me, and we're going to be talking about lots of characters, lots of villains, cool, cool experiences that we've had, playing with each other, and just fun stuff like that. Anyway, let me see what you guys think. And again, you don't need to send any comments or donations or nothing. All I want you to do to support this channel or to support this podcast is to please just keep listening every episode, to please get others, family members, or your friends, or whomever you think is interested or would be interested in this podcast to listen. Again, we are 100%, you know, family friendly environment podcast. We don't say anything. We will never say anything bad or anything that has truly double meaning, if you understand what I mean. So yeah, again, please to show your support and your love, listen to our podcast, get more people to uh, listen to it, and you know what? That's all I want. That's all I want is just to people have a good time listening to these podcasts. And if you already are, I just like to say thank you very much. I never thought I'd get this far, honestly, but I just got to say thank you to all of you who are listening and enjoying these podcasts. I am going to make it better. I am going to make it bigger. I promise. And yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed this podcast as well today. Also, one more thing before we leave here, I just wanted to say that in our website, rosterunited.boxmode.io is our official website, and that we've just added two new characters to the hero stats page, which is Nick Fury and She-Hulk. More will be coming out. Sorry, I haven't really had the time to post more characters in. Kind of like the last month, I've had tons of things to do and tons of things to work on other than this podcast and things like that. But don't worry, I'm going to upload more very soon. And yeah, but in the meantime, enjoy these two characters and enjoy this podcast. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Ethan, and this was Roster United. Have a good day.